just for a moment now, let's drop into stillness. Reconnect with your body and your breath in this sacred now. Close your eyes and just for a moment, do nothing. Simply observe. Observe the body relaxing, releasing muscular tension. Observe the breath finding its residence in your body. Simply observe your breath. Don't try to change it. Don't try to control it. Just witness. And when the breath finds its residence in the body, then it becomes free to explore the universe without any inhibitions. Just for a moment now, connect to your breath, allowing it to find its home within the core of the torso. And as you observe your breath, become sensitive to the flow of the breath at your nostrils. And just become aware to which nostril is dominant right now. This is your swara, the natural rhythm of your breath, which is more than just the air moving in and out of your lungs. It reflects the state of your nervous system, either the sympathetic nervous system when the right nostril is dominant, or the parasympathetic nervous system when the left nostril is dominant. Visualize the sun hovering over the right nostril. Connect to its warmth and strength. And visualize the moon hovering over the left nostril. And connect to its coolness and to its soothing, introverted quality. Connect to your subtle energetics. Yogis discovered than by observing and adjusting the swara. They could shift from active to passive, from passive to active, and maintain equanimity by balancing the flow between both nostrils evenly. You can influence your autonomic functions, balancing the nervous system and influencing both physiological and psychological states. Today, we are going deep into advanced yogic energetics. You will learn how to intentionally direct these energy flows, utilizing three profound techniques: Surya Beta Pranayam, Chandra Beta Pranayam, and Prana Shuddhi. But first, a little bit of background, a little bit of theory can really help us make sure that we're going in the right direction. Swara Yoga teaches that there are three primary nadis in the body, and these nadis connect to the nostrils. And the flow of the breath at the nostrils determines which one of the nadis is dominant. Pingala nadi, right nostril. Solar. This is the conduit in the body through which the vital power of prana shakti flows through. And it is rajasic. Rajasic means worldly, passionate, extroverted, dynamic. If there's polarity with the positive and negative poles on each side, rajas is the positive polarity of dynamic energy. And then the negative polarity of static energy is tamas. Tamas means inertia, stagnation. And it is also the left nostril lunar flow of manas shakti, the mental force that flows through ida nadi. So right nostril, pingala nadi, prana shakti, rajas, solar. Left nostril, ida nadi, manas shakti, tamasic, lunar. And these are the two polarities that govern duality. The dualities of nature, of Mother Nature, sun and moon, day and night, positive, negative, male, female. If your right nostril is blocked, this is where this comes out. This is how we use this technology now. This is a tool. First, we have to really understand our own energetics, and this will give us deep insight on how to be able to prescribe Surya Beta, Chandra Beta Pranayam, and Prana Shuddhi to your students. So let's understand this practically. If your right nostril is blocked, Pingala Nadi is weak. Therefore, Prana Shakti is weak. This means low physical energy. You might feel lethargy, procrastination, sluggishness, difficulty engaging with action. When the left nostril is dominant and the right nostril is blocked. Because the right nostril is blocked, your physical energy is going to be weak. because prana shakti is flowing weak. And the left nostril being dominant the way it is also going to activate tamas, tamoguna, which is about lethargy and stagnation and slowness as well. So you're overly influenced with tamas, inertia. Now, if your left nostril is blocked with the right nostril flowing, or we can even just say that the right nostril is dominant and the left nostril is weaker, then mental energy is weak and the mind becomes sluggish, dullness, depression, lack of clarity, lack of creativity. You feel it's difficult to be able to draw on your vocabulary. And because the right nostril is open and overly dominant, Rajas is overly dominant, which is that uh, active polarity, the dynamic energy. So there can be restlessness and hyperactivity, overstimulation without feeling grounded. But when both nostrils are flowing evenly, which is the idea here, then a third force awakens, which is Sushumna Nadi, the spiritual channel that leads to transcendence. And Sushumna Nadi is on the level of the Atman, the self, non duality. Duality is Ida and Pingala, sun and moon. But Sushumna is non duality, which means it corresponds to consciousness, the experiencer, the knower, the feeler, the seer. The sun and the moon merge in the central pathway, awakening fire. Sun, moon, and fire are three very common symbols used in Tantra because it's symbolizing exactly this. Sun is the vital power, moon is the mental power, and fire is the spiritual power of Sri Kundalini Shakti. When both nostrils are flowing evenly, then we can assume Sushumna is active, Kundalini is active, and meditation becomes effortless. We can spontaneously go deep into meditation. Now, the swaras change dominance every 90 minutes, about every 90 minutes or so. And also, different activities will stimulate dominance of swara flow. For example, after we eat a meal, you should notice the right nostril becomes dominant. The right nostril should open. Pingala Nadi opens because to help us digest, the vital force of prana shakti must become dominant. And when the swaras are changing in between, going from right to left or left to right, there's a window in between of about 5 to 10 minutes when both nostrils are flowing evenly. And this is when you have an opportunity to enjoy spontaneous states of meditation. The mind becomes introverted effortlessly. And you have that moment of equanimity and mental equipoise. However, there's many things that we can do to be able to deliberately shift our swara and to be able to also balance mental and physical disturbances. If you're feeling nauseous, then we can breathe up the right side of the spine, activating Pingala, the right nostril. If you're feeling mentally stressed, we can breathe up the left side of the spine, activating Ida Nadi, and focusing on that Manas Shakti, the cooling, soothing, lunar flow. So let's practice Surya Bheda pranayam first, piercing the solar channel. Surya Bheda means sun piercing, literally. Surya means sun, and Bheda means to pierce. So this technique is going to activate Pingala Nadi. When would we want to do this practically speaking? It will help us to connect with our physical strength. You'll immediately feel connected to your body, to your physical power. Therefore, it strengthens willpower, focus. It boosts energy, metabolism, digestion. It brings heat to the body, even. And it combats fatigue and lethargy. I've used this technique recently to help me to overcome nausea. And I took a bus for 7 hours across the island of Hispaniola, and I was motion sick the whole time. I can't stand buses. I hate them. The whole time I was sick, but I was able to maintain and manage and to keep that nausea at bay by doing Surya Beta Pranayam. And I was doing Surya Beta Pranayam, believe me, the whole time, the whole 7 hours. So it's actually a very simple technique. So let's practice it now. Please adjust your posture. Sit comfortably with a straight spine. You can rest your hands on your lap or in chin mudra with the thumb and ring finger touching, creating a circuit. And bring your attention to the flow. Let the breath flow naturally. Make no attempt to influence it. Again, allow the breath to find its natural residence in the body. Again, visualize the sun and the moon hovering just over the nostrils. And this time, extend that visualization to seeing two tubes running alongside the spine on either side. On the right side is a red, luminous tube made out of light. It is warm and solar. And on the left side of the spine, there is a blue, luminous tube made out of light, which is cool and lunar. Visualize that you are inhaling up through this right red tube. The breath is completely contained inside of the tube as it ascends adjacent to the spine, all the way to the brow center. Briefly hold the breath in and exhale through both nostrils evenly, visualizing the breath descending through the center of the spine. Now inhale up the left side through the blue, lunar, cool pathway of Ida, connecting to Manas Shakti. All the way to the brow center. Exhale through both nostrils evenly back down through the middle of the spine, returning to the pelvic floor. And now continue but only through the right channel of Pingala. Visualize that the pathway of Pingala, this red, warm, luminous tube of light, is boosting your energy, carrying your physical strength, correcting any imbalances to the body. Inhale up through Pingala, connecting to the solar force of Prana Shakti. Exhale through both nostrils evenly back down through the spinal pathway. Visualize the tube of Pingala to be perfectly straight without any curves, flowing adjacent to the spine. Prana Shakti is flowing directly straight up through the pathway of Pingala Nadi, correcting any physical imbalances, reconnecting you to health and strength. Now exhale fully and bring your awareness to Ida Nadi, the lunar pathway, blue in color, which is running straight up and down along the left side of the spine, connecting Muladhara at the pelvic floor to Agya at the brow center. Visualize that you're inhaling only through the left nostril as you are ascending through Ida, connecting to the cool, soothing, lunar flow of Manas Shakti. Up the left side of the spine to the brow center, exhaling, visualizing you are breathing out through both nostrils evenly as the breath awareness descends through the spine back down to Muladhara. Inhale, directing the flow to become straight. Willfully guide the flow of Manas Shakti straight up through the lunar channel of Ida Nadi. And notice how the mind becomes calm, Using Chandra Beta Pranayam, we can instantly reduce stress and mental agitation. You can enhance introspection and emotional balance. It aids in sleep and also assists in deep meditation. Feel the cool and soothing energy of Manas Shakti. As you purposefully and willfully direct the flow to become straight, flowing through the blue luminous tube of light along the left side of the spine. You can notice instantaneous relief from mental pressure. This is how we can use Surya and Beta, Surya and Chandra Beta Pranayam to correct any imbalances in the body mind complex. And going deeper, the true yogic practice here is balancing the swara between both nostrils. So now that we have explored the activation of the specific nadis on the side of duality, the manifest, the external side of our experience, the body and the mind. Now let us refine our practice with prana shuddhi, the purification of pranic energy, which will allow us to access Sushumna Nadi, our Atma Shakti, your spiritual power, Shri Kundalini Shakti, the dormant spiritual energy responsible for your ascension. And this also helps to cleanse the mind and release stress. So again, reconnect to your body and your breath in this sacred moment. Drop your shoulders, soften the muscles of your face, release any expression from the muscles of your face, and sensitize your awareness to the breath. Visualize yourself breathing in white light. As you inhale, imagine this pure, radiant, white light entering through both of your nostrils evenly, filling your lungs and your energy body, expanding into every cell of your body and flooding your aura with pure prana. And when you exhale, imagine dark smoke leaving your body. This is toxicity, tension, and energetic impurities dissolving away from you. leaving your system. Feel yourself becoming lighter, clearer, and more radiant with each breath. Breathing in light and breathing out darkness. Each cycle, feeling your body becoming more purified, your mind becoming more clear, your energy becoming more vibrant. With every breath, surrender into the cleansing process. Release any last little bit of lingering negativity or tension or heaviness, feeling the breath washing through you, restoring perfect harmony. This is beginner's prana shuddhi. Prana is the vital life force energy, and shuddhi means to purify. Next is advanced prana shuddhi, in which we're going to use the same visualization we did earlier with the red and blue nadis alongside the spine, but this time we're going to include sushumna. Sushumna is visualized as a golden thread, a very tiny tube that is in the median line of the body, that imaginary line that splits the bisymmetry of the body in the very, very center. Typically visualized as being in the very core of the spine, running up and down. So, again, close your eyes, connect to your breath, quickly scan your awareness around the body, releasing all heaviness. Let the breath find its natural residence in your body, in the core of the torso. Recall the sun and the moon hovering over the nostrils and the red and blue pathways of Pingala and Ida adjacent to the spine on either side. We're going to be doing 3 rounds of Anulom Viloma with Nadi awareness, followed by 3 rounds of even nostril breathing through the spine using 4-7-8-4 ratio. So begin inhaling through the left nostril, drawing Manas Shakti up through Ida Nadi all the way to Agya Chakra. Hold for a brief moment and exhale through the right nostril, bringing Prana Shakti down Pingala Nadi along the right side of the spine to Muladhara. Inhale through the right side again, Pingala Nadi, bringing Prana Shakti, the warm solar energy, up along the right side of the spine to the brow center. Briefly hold and exhale the cool, lunar, mental force of Manas Shakti through the left nostril down Ida back to Muladhara. Again, up through the left, out right, up right, down left, utilizing the full lung capacity with every breath. One more round. Up the left side, straight directly through Ida Nadi. Exhale down the right side, straight directly through Pingala Nadi. Inhale up the right. Exhale down the left. And now visualize that you're inhaling through both nostrils evenly as the Shakti ascends through the core of the spine to a count of 4. Hold in at the brow center Agya to a count of 7. And slowly exhale with Ujjayi Pranayama down the spine through both nostrils evenly to a count of 8. And then hold the breath out for a count of 4. Again, inhale 4, hold 7, exhale 8, pause 4. And as you exhale, look for the window into samadhi at the bottom of the breath when the muscles of respiration are completely passive before the next inhalation arises. Here in the stillness between two breaths, gently suspend the breath outside your body and enter into the in-between state where the breath is still. All the muscles of the body and the breath are relaxed. The mind becomes silent, and you can experience the bliss of consciousness without any interference. This is the samadhi breath, a doorway to deep inner meditative absorption. If you're able to remain centered, then you can continue even nostril breathing using the 4-7-8-4 breath to continue dissolving the mind into samadhi at the bottom of the exhalation. But if you notice that the thoughts come back, the mental fluctuations return, then again we can begin another round. 3 rounds of Analom Viloma with Nadi visualization, utilizing the full lung capacity during every breath. And then followed by 3 rounds of even nostril breathing. I'll give us another 3 minutes to continue to explore this practice in your own time, in your own way. During Anulom Vilom, there's no counting, but extra emphasis on making each breath full and complete, as well as focusing on directing the flow of manas and prana shakti straight and direct through their corresponding nadis. Three rounds of Anulom Vilom, which equals 6 breaths, followed by 3 rounds of Prana Shuddhi, mental, even nostril breathing, using the meter 4784. However, you can extend the exhalation and the external breath retention, Bahir Kumbhak, to assist you to enter into the in between state, that deep inner absorption in the gap between two breaths. One more minute. Extend the duration of external breath retention, dissolving all thoughts into the space of silent awareness. You can include Ujjayi Pranayam during any stage to assist in sensitizing your awareness to the solar, lunar forces and the force of fire. Let us understand the practical applications as breathwork instructors and as Prana Vidya practitioners, or just as people who are looking for another tool, able to manage their body, mind, and spiritual practice as well. Surya Bheda Pranayama. Inhaling up along the right side of the spine while visualizing inhaling through the right nostril, directing the flow of the breath, visualizing the flow of the breath is being contained inside of a red tube. Corrects health imbalances, strengthens the body, physical strength and energy, even cures nausea coming from physical experience. More frequently, I use Chandra Beta Pranayama. Anytime that I feel any mental stress, anytime, any bit of mental pressure comes, I instinctively have trained myself now to inhale up along the left side of my spine. And this helps really to be able to manage the different challenges of daily life. It relieves stress, fear, and anxiety instantaneously. And then even nostril breathing and the prana shuddhi combination of 3 rounds of Anulom Vilom, 3 rounds of even nostril breathing, Samaveda, leads to samadhi, deepens meditation, allows us to experience total mental silence, physical relaxation, transcending the gross and the subtle dimensions, transcending duality. So, as breathwork instructors and Prana Vidya sadhakas, our task is not just to teach breathwork and not just to practice, but to learn how to follow the guidance of the breath into deep inner transformation. Using the breath, we can manage and balance physiological and psychological sources of stress and tension. And using the breath, you can actually transcend the body mind complex, the ego state altogether, and enjoy that bliss then is your own true nature, your spiritual inheritance of deep inner peace, bliss, serenity, and satisfaction. This is the path of Prana Vidya, the mastery of life force. And now, this subtle yogic energetic system is yours to share and yours to use and continue to explore. And really, I hope that you will make this your own. Make it your own. This is also, I've used this to help me overcome insomnia during extreme jet lag when nothing else will work. And I've incorporated, instead of nadis, I visualize from the soles of my feet all the way to the top of my head, and top of my head all the way down to the soles of my feet on either side to help to maintain total body awareness so that my body stays relaxed. And that's really just more about balancing breath and body and maintaining that total deep relaxation so then I can fall asleep or experience deep meditation or whatever we need it for. Surya physical, Chandra, mental, and the path of fire for spiritual bliss and spontaneous, effortless meditation. Any questions about today's class?
So I have my left nostril. I feel it's like physically narrower. I had something removed and I feel like there's scar tissue in there blocking. Um, but when I focus, I do feel that I can make the flow even. I just wonder during my day as I'm working or whatever, and I'm not so focused on it, how if that's affecting me by not giving me so much lunar, maybe making me more anxious.
Yeah. I'm sure that it probably does affect you. It could probably, if it's the left side you said that's blocked,
Yes.
so that would make you a little bit more physically active, or maybe a little bit of um, physical kind of anxiety, right? Kind of like
Yes.
rambunctiousness, kind of,
Yeah.
which is a word we don't use anymore, right? Like I looked it up, I couldn't even find it in the dictionary. But so these things can happen through diet as well, and lifestyle factors. The good news is that it really doesn't matter if physically they're open or closed to be able to do the visualizations,
Yeah. Okay.
because the this visualization practice is actually mental. And but that doesn't mean it's limited to the mind, because energy flows where the mind goes. So by doing this mental visualization, you are also influencing the flow of energy, the subtle energy in the body as well. So there will definitely, you can still definitely do all these different practices and balance yourself out, but it just might mean that you have to work with one nadi more often. If that left channel is blocked, then you might be really using Chandra Beta Pranayama a lot more often, which I do more often too, because I mean, it helps manage mental stress. And who doesn't need help with mental stress in 2025? I don't think I know anybody. So it's a really great practice. Surya Beta Pranayama is taught more often in yoga circles because prana takes precedence. We first want to increase our physical energy. And then when we have enough physical energy, that will sustain the expansion of the mind. But we can't maintain high mental energy without the corresponding physical energy to fuel it. Right? It's kind of like a flashlight. Right? The light is only going to be as strong and powerful enough as the battery pack has electricity to supply it. So as we increase our prana shakti first, we're increasing our mental power. So, if we bring the mana shakti up here first, but the prana shakti is still down here, then eventually the mana shakti is going to come back down to wherever the prana shakti is. But as we increase the prana shakti, the mana shakti is increasing with it as well. So this is the reason that most yogic practices are so focused on the physical body and energy and prana. The objective is to expand the mind, is it not? It's the mental expansion, awareness, self-awareness, and all the different definitions of self-knowledge and enlightenment. But you can't get in there and reach in there and push and pull to expand the mind. We have to increase our physical health and energy levels. And that ends up achieving it for us. So usually when people experience one nostril that's predominantly blocked more than the other, it usually has to do with lifestyle factors, first of all. And this is why we spend a lot of time talking about the gunas. because this is all happening on the level of the gunas. Do you have an understanding for the guna
Not
system?
really.
So let's just quickly cover it because it's such an important concept. The gunas are there's three of them, and we can quickly understand them as being the polarities of static energy, dynamic energy, and the sweet spot of sustainable balance between the two. So the dynamic energy is rajas, and the static energy is tamas, and the sweet spot of balance is sattva. So, if we were to look at types of food, for example, Rajasic food would be really stimulating foods that they're maybe not actually healthy or good for you, but they really taste good. They excite the senses. Rajas is passion. So the food that comes to mind would be pizza. You know, pizza has no nutritional value, but we just love it and it tastes so good. And then tamasic food is food that is actually bad for the health, but it tastes really good while you're eating it. It's like overly processed foods, really sugary foods, um, processed meats, and obviously things like alcohol would be on that list. And and then sattvic foods are the foods that they're not enjoyable to eat in the beginning, but they lead to joy and pleasure in the end. And it leads to good health in the end. So, God is teaching us about discipline by making everything that's healthy for us taste bad, basically, or not bad, but the astringent, the bitter foods that are actually good for us, right? Or if we were to say, there's an analogy that really kind of drives the point home about insects. There's three insects corresponding to three types of people, corresponding to the three gunas. There's the earthworm, which is tamas. And the earthworm likes to just be in the filth, in the dirt, in the darkness. And if you take an earthworm and you clean it off in water and you put it on a nice clean surface, it wiggles and it writhes and it thinks and it's suffering. It hates to be in a clean environment. Right? That's tamas. Then there's rajas, which is the housefly. And the housefly, sometimes it'll land on something sweet and nice and clean, and other times it'll land on something really nasty, like really nasty, right? And this is most of us. Most of us are rajasic in the world today. And then there is sattva. And the sattvic animal, the insect, is the honeybee. And the honeybee just goes from flower to flower to flower. And it never lands on anything impure. And it gathers the nectar from the flowers and it turns it into honey, which is symbolic of the tantric alchemy process that we do as well. And then we could also say that flows of water. So a swamp with no incoming or outgoing water, which has no dissolved oxygen, that would be tamasic water. The river with rapids and flowing and rushing, this would be rajas. And then the sustainable balance between the two would be like a lake where the surface looks still and tranquil. There's dissolved oxygen, so there's all sorts of life and fish. There's an inlet and an outlet, so it stays fresh. So it combines both. It's that sweet spot. And then what is trigunatita? Trigunatita means that which is beyond the gunas, which is consciousness. And trigunatita is the subjective self, the Atman, the spirit, the Shiva. And all of these that we're talking about, the gunas, are all on the manifest side of reality, the objective side. Everything is going back and forth between energy and body, energy and matter and mind. Energy, matter, mind is the three gunas. But on the subjective side, we are consciousness. So trigunatita would just be water in this example. Or if we have places in a city, the cinema where you go with your sweetheart and for a date, a first date, or a really fancy, expensive restaurant, or the shopping plaza with all of the stores and the food court on the top section. This is Rajas, very worldly. Uh, the bar, the tavern, and such places like this, that would be tamas.
Mm.
And then the temple or the church or the botanical gardens, this would be sattva. But the raw land outside the city, in which everything in the city is actually made out of, that's trigunatita.
Mhm.
And so with our nadis as well. So we can begin to understand that if you're living too stagnant of a lifestyle with not enough activity, then that's very tamasic. So your left nostril is probably going to be dominant. If you're living an overly active lifestyle, then you might notice the right nostril is too dominant. And as meditators, as yogis, the ideal is to maintain the even flow of the breath at the nostril.
So is the goal to always be breathing evenly through both nostrils?
Yes,
Okay.
that is the
Okay.
goal. And however, why, if that's the case, then why does Surya Beta and Chandra Beta pranayama even exist? It's to correct the imbalances.
Yeah.
So after you do Surya Beta or Chandra Beta for so long, maybe you only need to do it for 3 breaths or 10 breaths. Then you should go back to trying to maintain even nostril breathing. And there's a lot of, then we go into this whole chapter in Swara Yoga about all the techniques to balance the flow. And yogis do all sorts of things to help them do this. The yoga dandwa is a stick that you see yogas carrying that looks like a little crutch, like a small crutch with a flat top on top of a stick. And they put it under one arm and they lean on it. And this is
Yeah.
actually because there's pressure points in the armpits that when you push up on that pressure point, if you can activate it, it'll open up the nostril on that side. Or if
Okay.
you lean on the opposite side that you're blocked on. So if I lean on my left side, it should open the right. And if I lean on my right side, it should open the left. Like full on lying down on your bed or on the ground or something.
Hmm.
Doing sun salutations or any kind of yoga where you do left side, right side, left side, right side. This will also, you'll notice after about 3 or 4 rounds, you'll notice that the nostrils on both sides open up. When we sneeze, I don't know if you've noticed, but when you sneeze, both of the nostrils open up. And you can get like a good 3 or 4 breaths, just like totally open, even nostril breathing. And that's a chance to go. I've actually known yogis when I was in the ashram, one of my friends from Nepal, he would pluck a nose hair to make himself sneeze. Or some yogis can look close to the sun. I've heard this. I don't know if it's, I've never seen this, but I've heard that you can look close to the sun and that will make some people sneeze.
Babies do that. If you take baby when babies are little and then you take them out in the sun, they will sneeze.
Really
Yes. My babies.
interesting.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. That's interesting. So, this is one way that there's different times or windows that we have into natural, even nostril breathing. And the mind is naturally introverted. Sushumna is flowing. Another way to activate Sushumna Nadi, by the way, is just when we become introverted. When we start to direct our awareness inward instead of outward through the senses, Sushumna automatically starts to become activated. And so just by maintaining a meditative attitude or perspective, we can activate Sushumna Nadi. And especially when we do like Prana Vidya healing techniques, when we are working with the nadis to really raise the Shakti, the cosmic energy. We can confirm that Sushumna Nadi is active and that we can now work with Mahaprana. And the way we confirm that is that the breath is even between the swara is even at both of the nostrils. So this has so many applications, and this is subtle and advanced yogic energetics that we can use with really profound and deep results. But I found that it's a teaching that it's a little bit more of an intermediate or advanced level teaching. In the beginning, to help your students to have freedom from mental agitation, we would do the 7-part breathing, breaking up the breath into 7 inhalations, or relaxation breath 4-7-8. Or to get more physical energy, we would do Bastrika pranayam. But as your teachings with them uh, advances, when you feel that your students are at that stage where they're ready for a little bit deeper of a practice, this is a real master key to unlocking your subtle energetics, your subtle energy system.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Asato ma sadgamaya, tamaso ma jyotirgamaya, mrityor ma amritam gamaya. Loka samasta sukino bhavantu. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandim Pushtivardhanam Urva Vrukamiva Bandhanad Mrityor Mukshiyamamritat. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. With great love and great respect, I welcome you with all my heart. Parvati Pataye Hara Hara Mahadev. Have a great night. Thank you for joining me once again.
Thank you.
See you again next time. Sri Matre Namaha.